and today's reading from Unshakable Spirit, Stories of Compassion and Wisdom by Kentetsu Takamori. Today's story is number 53. The man or woman capable of doing great work. In the age of Alexander the Great, there lived a philosopher named Diogenes. While Alexander the Great sought world conquest, Diogenes was an itinerant philosopher who slept in a tub and appeared now in town, now in villages, leading people to virtue. Alexander heard about him and was impressed. He sent for him, intending to give him a reward. Diogenes promptly turned the invitation down. I have no business with the king. If he has business with me, let him come and see me. And so Alexander called on Diogenes. Thank you for guiding the people of this country, he said. Tell me what you want, and I promise I will fulfill your wish. Diogenes had been basking pleasurably in the sunlight. I'll tell you what I want, he said. I want you to get out of the way. You're blocking my sunlight. The power of Alexander the Great meant nothing to Diogenes. Centuries ago, a luxurious culture thrived in the domain of Kaga, north of Kyoto in Japan. The ruler of Kaga heard of the fame of the haiku poet Kobayashi Issa and ordered his retainer to have the poet write a verse for him. The retainer went to Issa's residence with a sheet of paper. The unimpressed poet spat into his inkstone and ground some ink, then with a broken-tipped brush wrote out these words. What's the big deal? Even the glory of Kaga is dew on the grass. Nothing is so hard to deal with as a man who clings to neither money nor status, nor position, nor life. But only a man or woman like that is capable of doing great work. Those were the words of the rebel and statesman Saigo Takamori. Okay, very good. So there were two stories here about what it means to be able to do great work. So the first story was about Alexander the Great, who established one of the greatest empires in the world that humans have ever known. And actually, I don't know much about history, but just reading the story, seeing how Alexander the Great wanted to recognize and reward this philosopher Diogenes, who was leading the people of town and villages to virtue, kind of like Socrates. You know, Socrates always said, an unexamined life is not worth living. So Socrates, too, would walk around in town and villages and talk to people and question their beliefs. Why do you think the way you do? Is it really true? Is it based on truth, or you just following blindly some tradition or something that might not be serving you well right now? So Diogenes, too, he was leading people to virtue, and more and more happiness was spreading in the communities. So Alexander the Great asked his retainer to, go and give him a reward, but Diogenes wouldn't come to the place of Alexander the Great and said that if the king has something to talk with me about, he can come and see me. You know, almost no kings would ever do that, but Alexander the Great, he went to the place of this very humble, shabby looking philosopher, Diogenes, and said that, tell me what you want, and I promise I will fulfill your wish. But Diogenes was not impressed at all. The power of Alexander the Great meant nothing to Diogenes, and just asking the king to, oh, please get out of the way, you're blocking my sunlight. And then the second story is something about Japan, similar story. Um, to see the glory of an empire, no matter how magnificent something is and masses are praising that wealth or power, it's all dew on the grass, dewdrop. Especially these days when you wake up, if you go outside, don't you see all these dewdrops either on your car or on the leaves, on the plants everywhere? For some of you might have turned into ice or snow, but the dewdrop, it vanishes as soon as the sunlight comes up. At least in Southern California, it vanishes so quickly. So even the glory, they talk about these empires, but if you look at pictures, only ruins have been left behind now. It's all gone. So the more we understand the mutability of change and the inevitability of change, how transient everything is, how fleeting and fragile everything is, the more we listen to the Dharma and understand this truth, the more we see the futility and meaninglessness of holding on to things that are not going to last. And that's how a person who grasps the Dharma this deeply, um, they're not going to cling to money, status, position, neither life, because life is, we try to preserve our life no matter what, which is, of course, we have, it's our survival instinct. It's important, but most people think it's the purpose to maintain these things that are already running away from us. But if we learn the Dharma, we realize actually it's the other way around. All these things exist for us as means of living in order to fulfill our life's greatest purpose, which is to find a happiness, inner joy that liberates us, frees us from suffering. Yeah, so not knowing that true happiness, the happiness that satisfies the soul, because of anxiety, people just try to pursue money, status, position, or life, and constantly their desires remain unfulfilled. It's like you're trying to bring the river to your house, bringing the waterfall to your house. It's running, it's moving, and we cannot get a hold of it. So that's the beauty of learning the Dharma, the truth that never changes no matter where we go or what period of time we live in. And I'm so happy that I studied Dharma with all of you present here. Good job, everyone. Today is Monday. We will have the Right View Lab, 8 p.m. Pacific time, and have a wonderful start of your week. Bye.